Hello, it's Pamela Kockelmeyer here, and welcome to a video chat with Certified Equine Assisted Coach Christine Difrancesco. She is a student that enrolled in the 3-month training last year and shares her story about what her life was like before becoming an equine assisted coach. She talks about what her struggles were and what she did to live a better life. She shares her recovery story from alcoholism, along with her husband of 17 years, to her DUI therapist that saw something in her, resulting in Christine becoming a peer recovery coach. She also talks about her successes and how equine assisted coaching affected her personal and professional life. So grab a beverage, put your feet up, and enjoy the video. So, if you could share what was going on in your life before you became a certified equine assisted coach. So, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, we would love to hear your story.
Sure. So I was born in upstate New York, and I've lived all over the country actually, and lived in Tucson, Arizona for about 16 years when my mother got remarried, and eventually moved up to Alaska in 2005, where I met my husband. And we lived up there for 3 years. And my husband and I, we've been together 17 years now. A lot of our relationship, we're both in long-term recovery from alcoholism. So a lot of our relationship was based around alcoholism, and it was really unhealthy. And we had a lot of troubles, eventually legal troubles with this came to pursuit, and which eventually, by a miracle, we both got sober together. And actually Thursday, I got my 4-year chip from AA. So, and my husband, he's been sober almost going on 5 years now. So getting in recovery, and I had to take some classes, and a DUI therapist of mine, Dr. Lacey Bruman, she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and she offered to teach me the first half of my credential for a peer recovery support specialist. And I didn't even know what that was. But so I took the course, and I got my credential. And what I realized with peer coaching, so a peer coach is somebody that's in recovery from substance use disorder and then is credentialed to work with others in substance use disorder. And we work, as a coach, so dealing with the present and going forward. But with all of this, it was really interesting how the equine came in, because with peer coaching, to really be successful, you want to find a niche, something that you can offer that nobody else can. So I thought, well, my husband and I, we wanted to get a house, and an idea clicked. I thought, well, I could use horses with peer coaching, and I said, let's buy a ranch. Well, you got to understand, we came from, I've never lived in a home, and I've lived in apartments my whole life, and horrible credit score, mountains of debt when we got out of incarceration from our legal troubles from alcoholism. But I'll tell you, it was wild watching how everything changed. Once place where I was like, oh, I could do this. We just buckled down. We saved our money. We paid off our credit card debts, everything, improved everything. And we're able to save quite a good chunk of change, and just barely was able to buy this ranch. The synchronicities that came to play about this were wild. So we bought the ranch, and so then I was looking for how, what would go pair well with as a peer coach. And for equine therapy, but I thought, well, I'm not a therapist, so how would this even look? And I looked around, and when I came across your program as an equine assisted coach, not only that, Pam, but the fact that you had studied under Linda Kavanaugh, and and I've read a lot of her stuff, and it just instantly in my stomach felt right. I was like, I need to give this woman a call and find out, what this is all about. So that's when I decided to do this course, because it has my own niche. There, to my knowledge, in the Denver metro area, there are no other peer recovery coaches that offer equine services coupled with it. And so this is really, really cool. And the thing is that I can bill insurance companies under my coaching credential. So I can offer services to Medicaid recipients that wouldn't be able to get these services. So this is huge. And being able to reach out to that population that desperately needs work. And I feel that goes overlooked and brushed under the rug a lot. So to have a niche is really crucial. And with the peer coaching, my niche is with the horses, and with the equine assisted coaching, my niche is that I work with people with substance use disorder, and also building life skills and coupling that together. So I'm basically, my title is an equine life and recovery coach.
Okay.
And
awesome. Wow. That's quite the journey.
It's huge. It was huge.
Yeah. And then to buy a house too, to take that leap and buy a house. Like you said, you've always lived in apartments, and
yes, and it was very difficult. I never had land, and I was pretty much in ranching 101, and I'm like, what do I do with this pasture? So,
okay.
all of that stuff, everything. So, but I'm learning as I go, and I know it's not going to be perfect, but I stay out of fear, and financially this first year has been rough. I won't lie. But I stay in faith. We've never gone without a meal. The horses haven't gone without a meal. Business money starting to come in. We're going to be okay. Absolutely. Yeah. And I just stay in faith, because staying in faith and staying in that mindset allows for the good things to come. If I remain in fear, I can never attain the abundance if I'm coming from a state of fear, because it doesn't match. So I wouldn't be in alignment. So I've constantly, but it's constantly correcting my course. It's all the thoughts that go on in our head, right? But like really remembering, coming back to, okay. Yeah. And those many corrections that we have to do all the time.
Right. Yeah. So moving along, if you would share, what did you get out of the training, and what would you say is your mission with this work?
So when I started the training, I was like, okay, what do I need to learn? Like, what do I need to learn about the horse? I didn't realize that I was going to have a mirror in my face. Although, I got to learn about me. But here's the thing, I was really ready. I was ready to start my meditation practices. I knew I had to go deeper. I knew it was time. I was kind of at a stagnant place spiritually. And I was kind of stagnant, but I knew there was more. But I was like, So in doing this work, we had to really focus in on ourselves and how we wanted to create our life. How did we want to feel in the world? How did we want to show up? And I hands down, the biggest thing for me was when we had to do those 3 words. You said pick 3 feel-good words, but it wasn't just the words, it was the process in which we had to do it, because it was a 21-day thing where we think of 3 good words and how does that word resonate with us, right? How does that feel in your body? And then you put it down, you don't think about it, then you go back to it. And doing all of that was huge, because it really got me to key in, okay, how do I want to feel? Then you didn't leave it there. You then had exercises to do to elicit those emotions and those feelings. And so then it became a daily practice. And my 3 things were freedom, connection, and inner peace. Because in addiction, there's so much chaos, and I had inner turmoil always. I had never inner peace. I didn't even know what that meant. And true addiction is isolation. And the opposite of isolation is connection. And what is funny else also is when I came to Wisconsin for the hands-on training, you gave us all a card. And you know what my card was? It was connect. So, you know, and definitely in the freedom piece, for sure, for sure. So in doing that work, really started to open up. I started to realize that there was so much more to this, that I was part of a bigger picture, that there was so much more to this, and that there was a reason why I started seeing all these synchronicities, and in my morning meditations, because I wake up about 4:30 every morning, and I spend about an hour and a half with myself every single day. And in my morning in my morning meditations, I started to realize that I was part of something bigger, and that I barely scratched the surface, like just a crack of light. But I was getting so excited. And I said, I know that there's more to this. And what is it? What is it that this planet and humanity screaming for? We're screaming for something. And what's going on in our world is utter chaos, and everything's coming up, and all of our systems are failing us, are crumbling, and the education, the government, infrastructure, right? And we're all playing the blame game, when in actuality it is just a direct reflection of what's going on inside of us. And so we're just like purging up all of this stuff. And so my hopes is that by giving people their power back, instead of the blame game, turning around and doing people need to be accountable for themselves, point blank. They just need to be accountable for themselves. And by being in that space and being accountable, they can then be able to, that reflection will help change in what they see and what they experience. If enough people, if we get even like 1% of the population to raise their vibration, it can help. We can reach critical mass, and we can help really, because we're all connected. But we all need to wake up. We're all just I feel like, in this deep slumber about our potential, that we're master creators, and we're masters of our destiny. And it's by the choices and by the thoughts and everything, and how we create that. And if I can get people in a place where then, they come out to Serenity Stables, and then the peace and the quiet, and we're gonna shut off all that chatter, quiet, and let the heart come up. And I'll tell you, in doing this work, in one of my own meditations, I was thinking, how do I get people to open up their heart? How do I get people to help them get out of mental thinking into heart feeling? And I went into a meditation, and I came out, and I guess what is best, I could explain it as a download of an equine activity. And it came to me in an instant, and I started scribbling, because I didn't want to lose what I was like, oh my gosh. And then I went and I typed it up, and I believe I shared it with you in my final paper as well. But the heart activity came to me while doing a guided meditation. And what I found in doing this is I said, where do you feel this in your body? And they feel expansive. They feel heat in their chest, tears coming down. We're opening up. And I'm like, wow, this is working. So, and there's so much more. And this wasn't something, this heart center activity I created. I didn't create it. The information has always been out there. I just tapped into the information field, pulled it down, and now I'm sharing it. And I can't wait what else I can tap into and bring down to share with having purpose and intent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people, I have so much love and compassion, and I want people to have self-actualization as I'm becoming more self-actualized. And my business can only grow as much as I do.
Right.
So, and that's it, because I can't teach what I don't know. And really, and even my business is its own niche, because it's very spiritual based, not religion, but very spiritual based, and about getting into the self and getting centered and taking accountability, right? And utilizing that. And it's huge, because people in recovery, they get all the tools, and then we're relapsing again. And a lot of it is because we don't find purpose. There's nothing to hold. What do you know?
Yeah.
Purpose. And so find, what is that purpose? That purpose is what's in your heart. What are your desires? What are your passions? That's what you're put on here for. And so we just got to get out of those limiting beliefs, those blockages. You know, if someone would have told me that I was going to have a ranch and all that, I'm like, no way. I've only been a waitress my whole life. I have a 500 credit score. I'm in mountains of debt. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I've never owned a business. I don't know all those things. And I said, nope. And the only reason that I'm here today is because of the sheer belief that I could do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I want to empower others for them to find what it means to them, because that's going to ripple out in the world. Because me finding my dream is now, I've created a space for others. Had I not, this wouldn't be, and maybe people wouldn't have the opportunity. So, and then if they find their dream, what they do, how it ripples out with people, it's just constantly ripple, and it grows exponentially.
Yeah. So since you hit that terror barrier, is what I call it, you know, you move beyond that. If you could share, what are some of the doors that have opened for you and continue to open for you? I know you had shared with me some individuals you've been able to work with. In other words, they discovered that you are doing the work that you're doing, and now they're inviting you into their world. So if you could share a little bit about that, that would be great.
Sure. So I worked in a clinical setting as a peer recovery support specialist. And through that, I had made quite a few contacts of people in the industry, and also being involved in the recovery community myself, you know, with different things. I started working with different sober living homes. I had an old friend of mine who actually opened up a sober living home that contacted me and saw me on Facebook. And he was like, and the name of his sober living home is Serenity Falls, and I'm Serenity Stables. So it was kind of fitting. But what would happen is I have clients come out, or I go see clients, word of mouth. And the experience that people have out here, and I give my business card, they pass it to somebody. And then I've been getting emails, phone calls. Oh, I hear what you're doing. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? You know, I've been invited from a very good colleague, friend of mine, that she has her own business and addiction counselors, their masters. And so she's got a master's class that she teaches, and she invited me in on Zoom. So these are all upcoming addictions counselors in the field. And I even had an intern that wants to volunteer with me. So that's, you know, that's really, really interesting. It's really, what for me, it really has been word of mouth. I haven't really done any advertising. I have a brochure that I'm working on right now that I'm going to be getting out. I think the networking piece is really, really getting out into the community that you're serving and, and being part of, it's really, boots on the ground type thing, and just really being present and knowing what's going on in your community. And, and if you are doing the right thing and what you're supposed to in your business and what on your work, doors are going to start opening, because that's the alignment starts coming out. It's not like you have to force it. So if I try to force something, it's not like that. I have to do what I need to do, and then the things start lining up. It's been quite miraculous how everything has come into play.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
And how many horses do you have?
I have 3 in my herd, so I own 2, and then I have a boarder. And so that just helps, with the offset of hay and all of that. And the boarder, I also use this particular horse in my program as well.
And how are they when it comes to working with the clients?
They are all so different. All my horses are so different. And so I'll use different horses for different exercises. And I have a Solly, my very large warm blood, 17 and a half hands, 1,500 pounds. So, and he's an alpha male, and he's a little pushy. So he gets in your space, so good with people with boundaries. And men and women that have maybe issues with men too. That's good. I have Miss River, my little mare, is my most sensitive horse, and you can't even approach her unless you're mindful. Like when I do introductions and grooming, if someone just goes right up with a brush, she starts sidestepping. I actually make people stand and breathe and get in coherence, and then go forward. And even then she's like, but she's so expressive. Her eyes, she's so telling. She's just the information I can read her really, really well. Always giving me information. And then the boarder, Snickers, she's really good, like especially people with special needs. I had a client that came out with cerebral palsy, and he was on a walker, and they did an obstacle course, and the client led with the horse, and Snickers was just like really careful. And I don't know if the other 2 would be so careful to do it like Snickers did. So they all have, something different. And a huge piece of this about the success piece is constantly getting out of your comfort zone. You have to constantly get out of your comfort zone. And even like when doing sessions, it's huge when I don't plan for it. I get kind of a general idea, but then some clients don't show up, or one's added at the end, at the last minute. Oh, so-and-so wants to come, okay. So what, you don't want to be rigid. Can't be rigid. And for someone like me who works on having control, this is huge, because I can't have any control. And when I let go, that's where the magic happens. So this has been huge personally for me in my life that way. Right? Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's been huge. And so I definitely have to step out of my comfort zone all the time. And in doing that, and by stepping out of my comfort zone, that's how I grow, and putting myself, and giving myself challenges, but by being open. And I really ground myself. I ground myself before every session, and I pray, and I just ask for guidance. And I get out of here, and I try to sink down into my heart space, and I let information come, like what to do next, or what questions to ask.
Yeah. So the type of services that you have to offer, is it one-on-one, and or is it also group work? And or do you hold retreats? What are the types of services that you have to offer?
So this is wonderful, and I'm still developing all of my services. Right now, I do groups. I do groups with substance use disorder clients that come in, and we do equine activities, and it's like a 2-hour group. It's kind of like, we check in, we'll do introductions, and we'll do an activity, and then we close out with the processing what they got out of it, all of that. I also offer individual sessions, one-on-ones. And this, I offer one-on-ones with, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with people with substance use disorder. I really like to work with the conditioned and unconditioned selves and limiting beliefs and helping people build an outline for what they want their life to look like. And sometimes people don't even know what that is. And then we can start delving into that. Like, I can help them figure that out. A lot of people don't even know what it is they want to do. Well, I start peeling back those layers and getting back into their inner child and start pulling up all those things. Okay. And helping them navigate through that. So, and then I also have right now a 15-year-old client, and this was a referral. And this particular client just had some problems maybe growing up and wanted to get into something, and is also seeing a therapist. And I want to work in conjunction with the therapist. But what I'm doing with this particular girl is teaching her life skills, teaching her meditation, how to quiet the mind. I'm teaching her how to ride, but I'm also teaching her how to do groundwork and in the relationship and building the connection with the horse. So, and the mother said, do you do horse camp? And she's like, do you know where to do horse camp? I said, a horse camp a lot of times is geared towards a little bit younger than 15. I said, but if she wants to come out this summer, I'm going to organize some activities for her to come out a couple times a week. And then I also have another client that I work with that asked me to do equine, like coaching with her partner, like couples. So I had them come out on Sunday, and I did a first session, and it was amazing. And so now, and they're coming back, and we're gonna do 3 more sessions and maybe more.
Nice.
So I work with couples as well. I work with children, teenagers. I also, I do offer riding lessons as well. To beginners, up downers posting, riding English. I do offer beginning riding lessons as well. And so, there's many different things that we can do this. And what's really cool is I also do, coming this spring on the full moons, I will be holding full moon meditations with drums and tiki torches.
And very nice.
Yeah, and so I'll be holding that. And then I have a girlfriend that is certified in trauma-informed yoga. And we want to, this summer, get like a day retreat, kind of where they come and do yoga and work with the horses. And maybe we'll have I have about 6 acres and some grassy area where they can set up a nice blanket and journal too, and we do meditations and whatever. We can develop this, but I'm really excited for what's to come. And what's really cool is that I haven't put myself in a box, with this business. So I can venture out. It's just about being creative.
Yeah. And as you're in this process, like you said, not put yourself in a box, along those same lines, I know you had said that you also work part-time, because developing the business, growing the business does take time, because you have the horses. And if you own your own horses, you've got to feed them every day. So you've got the expenses of that.
Yes.
So slowly but surely, yeah. So you are still working part-time, but you need that, right, income to build your business. And this is a lot of times what students learn as well, because they start to think, well, how am I going to start a business? How am I going to be able to afford that? And, there is a process, there is a way. Like, for instance, me, I worked in the corporate world, And then I started my business on the side, my practice on the side. And then you slowly transition. So do you find that's the same thing? That's what's been happening with you?
Oh,
Do you have plans?
absolutely, because last year, I was working 5 shifts at my other job, and now I'm down to 2 or 3.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, this is, I think, the stickiest, it's a weird dance I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Pam, there was one other thing I did want to mention about how doing this course has changed me professionally, but personally, my husband has seen a huge change in me, and it has inspired him to action. And he's wanting to start doing his morning meditations, just the way the way he thinks, like during his work day, and about how he looks at things, and he's switching it around. And he said it's all because of the work that I've done, that he's seen what I've done, and he's so inspired, my own husband, to be able to start going, oh, wait a minute. He's like, you're onto something here. I said, I know.
Yeah. So you feel as if you've come alive, you've come to life. You're back to your original medicine, your original instructions. You got rid of a lot of the cultural expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Your way. Yeah.
This is, and what's really cool is that this whole business, it's unique, and I can't really hire employees for my particular thing, because you can't duplicate me and what I bring to the table are my experiences and what I've learned.
Right.
And you can't duplicate that.
No, that's huge. You can't learn that from a book.
No. And I it is huge.
Yeah. Well, good work, Christine. Very,
Thank you so much, Pam.
Yeah, you were a really good student in the training, and the training was 3 months, and you were part of a group in the training. And then as you're in that training too, you get to network with other people, the other coaches, so I think that also adds to the development of that relationship as a whole, collectively
100.
and individually. And we're all, like you said, we're all on this journey. Yeah.
There was 5 others, in the class besides me. And I still to today talk to 4 of them.
Nice. Very nice.
Keep in contact and keep tabs. Hi, how you doing? And, share things. So it was really, and what was amazing about coming out there was all of us coaches and how different we all were. And right, and all what we had. I mean, what an amazing bunch we were, huh? And bringing us all together that normally we probably wouldn't be together. But we all came together, and we all had something to offer, and we all have our own niche. And it was just cool to see that how many different facets of life come in and do this work.
Yeah.
And how much I learned with the horses, being classically trained in hunter, jumper, and dressage, and that kind of work, and being a boss and not a leader, and barking orders at my horses. And also realizing this all these years, they've been talking to me, but I haven't been listening. But that's okay, because I'm listening now. Yeah.
So wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Christine, for
thank you, Pam.
Sharing your story. And it's the stories when we listen to each other that helps us, learn things about ourselves, and really getting down to following, like you said, your own inner voice, what it is that you want to be doing or you need to be doing, so you can go on and help others. And especially now, we're needed.